That little snake.
Look at the burnage on this. This van is a disaster.
Can we hijack your factory and print our own cables?
Absolutely serious. Your job is on the line here.
The results are in. We have a winner.
Let's get stuck in. Hello and welcome back to Artisan Electrics, where we are very excited to come to you today from Doncaster Cables factory. Today we're installing 4 electric vehicle charging points for them, 4 different electric vehicle charging points that are going to really help them to showcase to their customers the EV Ultra cable that they make, which you guys know we use it day in and day out for our EV installs. I'm really looking forward to this video, and I'm also looking forward to the fact that we're going to get to do a factory tour and show you exactly how cable is made. That'll be a separate video. Either way, if you guys are not subscribed yet, please do hit the thumbs up. Cory and Luke are with me. We're just going to jump straight into the job, show you what it's all about. Hope you enjoy. So this is what we're doing. We're ripping out these skanky old Rolec chargers, which I'm very happy about. You know, they've been here a while and it's time for an upgrade. So we're putting 4 smart chargers in, and they are as follows. 1 Hypervolt, which you know is our favourite secretly, 2 a Zappi, second favourite, 3 an Ohmi Home Pro, which we've never installed before, should be interesting, and 4 a Sync EV charger, again never installed one, but the idea is all 4 chargers will work with EV Ultra cable. We can connect a CT clamp, we can use that to do active load management, which is going to protect the main fuse, and that's one of the standout features of EV Ultra. We'll show you all about that in a minute. First of all, we're going to rip these out, and then 4 new chargers going along here, and we're going to be doing it the Artisan way. So instead of wiring them up in Flexicon like these old ones have been done, we've got some 200mm cable tray going all the way along this wall. Going to mount that up nicely and run the EV Ultra cables in along there. Cory's just doing safe isolation procedure as we speak, so we'll jump over there, and Luke's going to start ripping these out once the circuit is properly isolated. So tell us what you're doing, Cory.
I'm just quickly locking out because see, it's a bit of a busy space. I don't fancy someone trying to turn the board back on thinking that's why their forklift's not charging or something. So lock out, tag out. That little snake. Jordan said to me, why haven't you got your lockout kit? And I said, I don't know, to be fair, it just disappeared. It's got my name on it. That's my, I'm not gonna put my number and stuff on it, but that's mine. He's pinched that off me. I'm gonna use this hasp because really everyone that's working on it should have their own padlock and their own key, which they are responsible for. And remember, if you're locking out, you keep your key on you, don't leave it inside the padlock. I need to put a tag on it as well. I know I've technically tagged. Everyone then can come, add their own lock, add their own tag, and then there's no chance of it turning on until everyone's definitely finished, everyone's unlocked, and you're all responsible for your own safety then. I think we can reuse this board because I don't think there's anything actually wrong with it. I've just undone all those terminals. Just undo these ones now. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it, so I'm just going to keep it. We might have to add a top box or something, that's the only thing. For the Hypervolt we need a double pole RCBO, and I don't really see a sensible way of mounting that. I'm going to put a surge protector here, maybe a 63 amp breaker coming off to our surge protection, the top box, double pole RCBO, and then we can come out fresh from there. There's the feed cable there going off back to the other distribution board. But yeah, I'll just rip out, start again, make it look all nice, and we'll give it a proper clean up as well. I bought some wipes in here, so I thought if we're going to reuse it, might as well make it look new again.
So I've just been doing safe isolation procedure with Luke for his portfolio, taking some pictures. Obviously Cory's turned it off inside, but we want to check to make sure that it is actually, you know, dead. So I'm just doing my thing this end. Got the old proving unit on, but check this out, right guys, look at the burnage on this. This happens a lot with these Rolec units. I've showed it in another video. Burning on the top of the RCD there. The conductor's just overheated. And I mean, the whole thing anyway has, some of the screws weren't fitted properly, so they've got a bit of water in them and stuff. They're just a bit of a mess, so gonna rip them out. Have you got any burning on your one?
Not this one, no.
No. They've just put silicone on the top to sort of try and stop water from running down and going inside, but you know, if you install the thing properly in the first place, then you don't really need to do that. Going through the materials that we've got some cable ties, steel cable ties, heat shrink, we've got glands if we need them, but I think we're going to go with tough sheath cable. So these are the main event. We're going to be using these to fix the cable tray to the wall. This is the brackets for the cable tray. We've got M10 bolts that will go in there and just bolt these to the wall. So what we're going to do is just drill a test version just to make sure it works with these particular bricks and everything. Make sure we're not down the, what do they call it? Down the creek without a paddle? Yeah, down the creek without a paddle, as our Australian viewers would say. Down the Swanee, did you say?
Up creek, man.
Up, oh no, maybe it's up the creek without a paddle. Up or down the creek without a paddle, let me know. I suppose it depends, you know, whether you're from Australia or New Zealand. Luke says down the Swanee. That could be another one. Let me know all of your other euphemisms for having a complete disaster in the comments. But we're just going to bob one of these on the wall, give it a go. If it works, we're going to laser it up, or maybe we'll just follow the line of the bricks, because I don't know how level this wall is. Drill all our holes and then go along, fix the brackets. Let's get stuck in. See, I'm trying to be good. I'm trying to set a good example here. So you watching? You watching? Yeah? We should go kind of there, because I just feel like if we drill those, they're gonna knock out. If we're going straight through there, then we can end the cable tray like a little bit short anyway. So I reckon here will be fine. This van is a disaster. Like, I'm so glad that I didn't let Cory persuade me to give him a brand new van, because every time I see his van, he's got an excuse like, oh yeah, but I was in such a rush finishing this job. He's always got an excuse, but the fact is, every time I've seen Cory's van, it's been a complete mess.
Why are you following me? Do you want anything from the break room, Max? It's just downstairs.
Got 432 amp MCBs. They're only 6KA, that's the only thing, but I think that board's probably far enough from the incomer that 6KA would be fine.
Are you going to go RCD and then MCB out of that, or MCB to the RCD? Or
yeah, just MCB. So if we did like 4 MCBs and 2 RCBOs on one side, then the 3-phase for the other, for the SPD, main switch, 3 blanks, SPD, RCD. So what we've got, we were thinking about going with the existing board, because it's not that bad. It's, you know, fairly new and stuff. It was just a bit dirty, but there are various things that we need, like an SPD, because, you know, we're installing sensitive, expensive electronic devices. We wanted to put an SPD in. For that reason and other reasons, we decided to put in this contacting board, which we kind of brought with us because we thought we might need it. And it's a nice solid board. It's got everything in there that we need, SPD, RCD, main switch, MCBs for the chargers, RCBOs for the other stuff. It's all kitted out and ready to go. So Cory's just going to start prepping it up. It should be fairly quick and easy to install that, and it means you've got a proper pucker job with a brand new DB and everything's nice and new.
Take some of the weight. It's a heavy old board there.
Yeah, they're proper solid.
Right, and if we just mark it all, I'll take it off so we don't fill it with dust.
So we could just use one data cable up to a whisker box and then take
I'll cut all the data cables long enough to go straight through the board and out the bottom into it.
Yeah, into a whisker box,
yeah,
and then joint it with just one Cat 6. So 1200 is the highest you're supposed to do them to the socket. It should be between 0.75 and 1200 to the socket outlet, or the screen, I guess, if it's the tethered one.
I once had a 2-week ban from working on these on a big site. Don't know if that fills you with confidence or not. I just ran over some things. That should do. I should be able to boom forward then.
Beautiful fresh morning, day 2 here at Doncaster Cables, and the work is really starting in full this morning. So we're getting the cable tray up. Luke's just busy starting on that in the corner. We've got to drill a kind of a slot through the wall as well to take the cables through. And then once the cable tray's up, we can start running in all the cables to the various charging points. We've already kind of marked them up and done a lot of prep work yesterday. Cory did the board already, he's got it on the wall ready to go. So we're kind of getting in the swing of things. And what's nice is Luke is able to do his first cable tray today, which will help towards his portfolio with his MVQ. So we're going to be taking photos of him doing that, and that'll be part of his portfolio, which is really nice because we don't do a huge amount of cable tray and stuff like that, as we're mostly domestic sparks. But yeah, it's going well so far, and Doncaster just looking after us so well with all the coffees and cakes and stuff. It's really cool. So
I tried to get Ruben to do this, but because he was homeschooled, he never played parachute as a kid. So made it a lot more difficult.
So we're just trying to figure out how often to space the brackets on this cable tray. And it's 200mm medium gauge cable tray. Cory's got the on-site guide out. It's trying to be clever clogs, but it's probably a good idea to check. Let me know if you know what page on the on-site guide you should be looking at, or what would you do in the comments? How far apart would you space them? I feel like that's probably overkill. That's every 60 centimetres or something, isn't it? Yeah. We could probably get away with every metre, but we've only got a limited number of brackets, so we need to get it right.
Page 139, I believe.
Yeah, you see, I think the cable spacing support is basically for the cable ties on the cable tray. I don't think it actually tells you cable tray spacings. But
what is this? Do you know what they say? When your on-site guide is falling apart, your installations probably aren't. Just check. Sports for conduits, sports for cable tray. Yeah, that'll do. Right, so horizontal metal. Looking at every 750mm, I think. Cool. I think it's about every 750mm. Bacon, sausages, eggs. Brown sauce, red sauce and brown sauce. Red sauce and brown sauce.
Proper northern breakfast. So I just want to thank Doncaster Cables for sponsoring today's video. If you're a regular viewer of the channel, you know that we use the EV Ultra cable all the time for our EV installs, and there's a few reasons for that. So I want to share with you today why we're using this cable, particularly in this install, and why as EV installers we use EV Ultra cable a lot for our installations. These are the 4 drums of the cable that we're using to install the 4 chargers that you'll see going up on the wall soon. I'll do a little bit of a deep dive now with you about what's inside the EV Ultra cable, because it's really interesting. So we managed to hide ourselves away in amongst the cable racks because we wanted to show you the selection of cables that EV Ultra is available in. Now, I didn't realise how many different versions there are. And the common theme between all the EV Ultra cables is this, right? It's a combined power and data cable. So there are 2 options, either one twisted pair or a Cat 5e inside a power cable. And that means that you've got one cable to run in to give your power and your data to whatever particular point you're installing. That's really crucial for us because aesthetically, it just means that you've only got one cable which you can neatly clip, And also, even if you don't need the data cable now, it's there so that it future-proofs your installations, which for us in EV charging installs is absolutely key. But what I didn't know is that they had so many different versions. So you've got like really big chunky ones, like this is a 16mm 3-core with a Cat 5 in it, down to quite small, like I think this is a 2.5 3-core with a twisted pair, and then everything in between. You've even got the 3-phase cables, like this is a 5-core 10mm, and of course you've got the tough sheath version, and then you've got the steel wire armoured version as well. We're going to be using this to install 4 different charging points and show how EV Ultra can be used to do active load management, to connect the CT coils, to be able to monitor the grid and stuff, and also to provide internet connection to various different charging points. And I'll show you the 4 charging points that we're going to be installing now. So these are the 4 charging points that we're going to be installing. Now, Hypervolts, you've seen us install loads, they're kind of our favourites. And we're going to use the Cat 5 to connect the CT coil for this, to do active load management, to protect the main fuse. The Zappy, same again. The good thing about the Zappy is you can also connect a separate CT for solar and battery storage if you want. So Cat 5 there will totally future-proof it. The Omi Home Pro, we've not installed one before, but the same kind of principle applies. You've got the 2 cores in here for your CTs, and that means that we can protect the main fuse using a CT clamp. And then this is the Sync EV charger. Again, another one that we've not installed before, so it's going to be interesting to see how that one goes in. So we're going to start getting these on the wall anyway and show you how they work.
So hi guys, welcome. We're outside here. We've got a tray which I'm putting up at the moment, the tray system for the EV cables to be run down. I've started in the corner there, just putting the brackets up, putting them equal distance in between. And yeah, so we're just going to run them all the way down here, all the way down to the end. We've laid them out on the floor ready for it, and then we're just going to run the cables down to each charging point.
So the guys are mocking me because they say that I've pretty much notched this out with my teeth. I have to agree that it could have been a little bit neater. I stitch drilled it out and then just chiseled it, but the bricks are really crumbly, that's my excuse. Cory's coming through from the other side and then we'll meet in the middle, and it just gives a nice slot where we can run the cables through. You've forgotten something.
Glasses.
Yeah. Whenever the guys aren't wearing their glasses, I can't watch them 24/7, so you guys need to pick them up on it in the videos. If they're not wearing their PPE properly, let them know in the comments, then they'll feel embarrassed and next time they'll do better. Nobody's perfect. So we're getting on with this cable tray. It's a little bit more fiddly than it looks because that top line of bricks up there is actually really loose. It's kind of the top course of bricks and they're only quite small. So we're finding some of them when we drill them, they kind of go a little bit loose. But there's not a lot we can do about that. We're just taking our time, doing it neatly as we can. So yeah, it's going all right. I like this cable tray, looks smart.
Well, hello, welcome to my little corner, guys, where, see, I've got a lot of dentists in my family. Like pretty much all the girls in my family work in a dentist. So I thought if I used my teeth like he has on the other side, they might get annoyed with me. So I opted for just stitch drilling and chiseling myself. But yeah, I'm just adding this socket. I think I kind of want to go bottom entry with all the cables, but there's so much stuff there. I might just come in the side here instead. Just kind of swoop them out. Bit of 200mm cable tray there. This, I'm not going to go top entry because I'm not a fan of top entry on anything on a consumer unit. I'm just going to shorten the Copex and come straight in the side. And that's for that pod point outside. And then that'll be it done really. I've got to say, I'm impressed with this board. You know, it's no Schneider Actinine or ISO bar, but it's still really nice. Like, I'm impressed with how solid it feels. Like putting it on the wall was a bit on the wonk. I was worried it was going to pull it off square, but it hasn't at all. I've not dressed it in or anything yet, so I'm going to get ferrule in, get terminating a couple of bits and get all that prepped, and I'll let you get your hot chocolate on and come back.
Right, so we snuck into the office of Aaron, the works manager here at Doncaster, and I want to ask you a question.
Yes.
You know how your cables are beautifully branded with like EV Ultra Doncaster Cables? Could we do an Artisan Electrics EV Ultra cable with our logo on it?
An Artisan hijack?
Basically, can we hijack your factory and print our own cables?
Yes, we can do that. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, shall I send you our logo and then you guys can come up with something?
Yeah, we'll have a look at the logo and then we'll see what we can come up with.
Awesome. And then, can we give some away to someone who's watching this video?
Yeah, we'll spare you half a metre. No, we can do a giveaway sample.
Cool, okay. So guys, if you'd like to win some Artisan Electric branded cable, go to the description of this video and there'll be instructions on what to do. I can't wait to see this. This is going to be so cool.
Some amazing northern hospitality. Obviously, it's only polite to try a little bit of everything and put them back so everyone has a chance to try something, you know. Have a little bite of that as well.
So I'm just going to strip the end off one of these cables, and you can just do it with a Stanley knife or something like that, or a normal cable stripping knife. But Doncaster have these little special stripping tools which are really cool, branded with EV Ultra on them. You might have seen Lee using something similar to this made by Nipex, I think. It's a great idea. It's basically got this little blade that rotates, and you slip this over the cable like that. Then you adjust the depth of the blade with this little thing. You just turn it round the cable like that, and then you go along like that. And that should have gone through the sheath, hopefully. Yeah, there we go. Gone through, and we've gone through the outer sheath, but we've not damaged any of the inner cores, which if you do it with a knife, it's easy to do that, but this way you just go through the outer sheath, but you protect the inner cores. So we've got 5 of these to give away on our Instagram page. So if you head over to @Artisan Electrics, follow us on Instagram. We're going to be doing a post with a giveaway for these, and if you tag some friends and share it out and all that stuff, leave a comment, then you could be in for a chance to win one of 5 of these little tools. So we decided to speed things up a bit. We're prepping these on the ground. So what we're doing is using these roofing bolts and these square nuts with an M6 washer to bolt the cable tray down onto the brackets. And we've got tool of the day today is this, right? I've been wanting to use this for a while and I haven't had a chance, but it's the Armeg Impact rated roofing bolt driver. There's a link in the description to where you can get it off Amazon. And it's just such a massive time saver because it's magnetised. You can just pop the roofing bolt on like that, and it just saves so much time. So yeah, brilliant little tool, super cheap, just good to have in the repertoire.
I think the spider that size ought to sign in. Needs to do a proper site induction, that beast. You're right in my way, my friend, I'm sorry. Whoa, that's a good one. That's a meaty boy. If it jumps on my face, I will actually scream. Oh, I can literally see it, mate.
Let's have a look.
Hey, have a look. If you flick it onto me, we'll go release him into the wild. Ah, he's too aware. I'll go release him. Let me help him out. Oh, he's gone. What? You've forever got a spider now? Mate, he's gone. He's actually gone into the framework of the car. I'm not even joking. Right, well, he's going to reappear one day, probably while driving on the motorway, and that'll be very entertaining. I hope I hear of it. Okay, I hope you escape. I hope you catch lots of flies and find a nice spider girlfriend to eat you.
So we're using what I think is one of the most awesome inventions of our time. These are the Run Protect X boards, and they're just such a great way to roll off cable, especially if you've got heavy drums of armoured and stuff like this. It's like a DJ's, what do you call it?
Turntable.
A turntable.
If you have a couple of shots and then get your buddy to spin you, like, you just... They go really fast.
You've got 2 options with these. So you've got plonk your cable thing on there like that, and then just roll it out. That's awesome. But then if you've got loose cables as well, you can just take this off, do that, flip this up, and then flip these out, and you've got your loose cable that can just go on there. You know, sometimes the wholesaler provide a cable that's cut to 20 meters and they've just wrapped it. You just pop it on there and it does exactly the same thing, even if you've not got a drum. So it's just such a cool invention.
Are we keeping these?
Yeah.
Awesome.
If you don't ask, you know, better to ask for forgiveness than permission, right? But yeah, I just love these. I think they're genius. So we're going to roll all 4 cables out in one go.
I could do it with one hand.
Go for it, Corey.
It's that easy. That's the money shot. That's cool. So cable number 4. This one.
Yeah, I'll get some cable ties and then...
Yeah, we'll just get one on the corner. If I go mark out how much I need that side. Hey Max, I dare you to. Either gonna have to come along that way and in, or down and in. Yeah, I've got plenty.
These are what we call flush cutters, right? Leave a link in the description for these as well. When you do a cable tie, there's a few things that make the difference between any old cowboy doing cable ties and an artisan doing cable ties, right? Don't laugh. This is absolutely serious. Your job is on the line here if you get it wrong, right? So what you want to do, you want to make sure, first of all, that all the cable ties are wrapped around in the same direction. These are all the same, so the same orientation. And then you want to make sure that they finish about the same place as well. If they finish about there, make sure they're all nicely lined up and that they're properly tight. And then use the flush cutters to cut them off like that. That means that they're nice and smooth here. So if any other electrician comes past and brushes their hand, they're not going to get cut. If you cut those with side cutters, they'll be really sharp. There'll be like a sharp bit sticking out and it can scratch your fingers up and it's horrible. And we'll do like maybe every couple of meters, we'll do a steel one.
That is an absolute dream, I have to say.
It's easier than a hacksaw, isn't it? That's cold cutting. So
I've done it where you
they call it cold cutting, but it literally is. It's not hot. The metal's not even got hot, and there weren't even any sparks.
Cold cutting. What were they made in India?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's interesting really because every charger has a different way of mounting. So this is the Ohmi and it's got like a metal back plate to mount it on. The Sync EV's just got holes in the plastic enclosure that you put the screws through. The Hypervolt, you kind of put the screws through and then hook it on. And the Zappi has its own raw plugs and fixings that are provided with it, and you just screw through the back of it and put little waterproof seals over. Everyone's slightly different, but they're all pretty similar, to be honest. Once you've installed 1 or 2 EV chargers, you kind of get, as long as you know the regs and you know which safety devices they need to protect them, then you just kind of rinse and repeat, really. Ohmi is mounted. I'm going to run the clips down for that. Then I've got the Zappi to do, and then the Hypervolt.
I think it's time for another honest tool review. I love tools, as you all know, but I'll tell you what I don't like, is when people make tools that really were not ever needed. It's like, nobody asked for it, but people just decide to make it anyways. Think of the Wera screwdriver. Go back to the days of reviewing the Wera screwdriver. Not massively impressed. My verdict is a solid 3 or 4 out of 10. This screwdriver is possibly the worst screwdriver. I'm not impressed. You need me to start off the screw for you. You are literally the screwdriver. That is your job. Perfect example of no one asked for it, but we got it anyway, and it was a heap of rubbish, if I'm being completely honest. This time, we have got this little gizmo. I like the idea of it. We'll see if it's any good. So I believe there is a bit of a knack to it. I'm not sure what that knack is. And offer it up like that. Yeah, that's not going to hit the cable. Line this one up. I guess I'll just wrap it round. Yeah, simple as that. I think that should be alright. I mean, it feels a lot safer than using a knife, I'll give it that. The lesson is, I should probably learn how to use a tool before I review it, but I'm thinking I can see once I get the knack to that. So it's inhaled a load of dust. Once I get the hang of using it, I bet it is well handy.
So we've got the 4 chargers up now, and let me show you inside how it works with the EV Ultra cable. So we're using the 6mm 3-core tough sheath with a Cat 5. So this is our Cat 5, which we connect into the CT terminals, and then the power cables terminate into the power terminations. The guys have just disconnected them for the moment to do the insulation resistance testing and the R1 and R2 tests and stuff like that. But we've got them all in, and it's the same with every charger basically. So you've got your power, and then you've got your little clip here for the data connection with the twisted pair. Not sure why they've used the brown on this one. We usually use the blue every time because it's Artisan colours, so I might get Luke to swap that one over. You can see how neat it looks with this cable tray. Everything's tied in neatly. Luke did a great job. The Ohmis, you can't actually connect anything into it. It's just got this cable coming out of it, and then you've got to use a junction box like this to actually connect the cables together. So this is our supply cable, and then we've used this whisker box to connect our supply cable to their power cable, and then the CTs are done in here as well. And then with the Sync EV one, something important to note, it's very tight for space in here, so you have to be very careful when you're dressing the cables in. And the CT cable for this one actually plugs in via an RS485 connection, like a little 4-pin telephone plug basically. You have to have a crimping tool for this. Crimp that on, and then you plug it into the little socket in the circuit board. I'll show you at the other end how it works, because there's a special device at the other end that we have to connect up. So at this end, this is our EV Ultra cables coming in, and then we split out the power and data. The power comes out from the circuit breakers. The data we've run through, and we've run it through this flexible conduit into this junction box here. And what we're going to do then, because we need to clamp our CT clamps around these tails to monitor how much power we're taking from the grid in order to do the active load management. We're going to connect the CT cables in this junction box, and then everything will be safe and we'll have the active load management working. So every charger comes with a slightly different CT. So these are our 4 CTs for our 4 different chargers. And the Sync EV one, instead of just having wire connections, it's got this little transmitter with the little glass head that you've got to crimp on. That's just something to note. If you're doing a Sync EV, you do need that little crimping tool. Fortunately, somebody here had one, so we were able to borrow theirs. Cory and Luke are going to just do the testing now, get everything buttoned up, commissioned, set up, and then we'll be good to go. So you know earlier we said that we were doing a competition on Instagram where whoever guessed the closest time that it took us to get here in the electric van would win a £200 Amazon voucher. Well, the results are in and we have a winner. So it took us 5 hours and 28 minutes to get here. That's the exact timing. And one person guessed it exactly right. Dylan Rooney 11, that's his Instagram handle. Congratulations, you've won a £200 Amazon voucher. So we'll be sending you a message, send us your email address, and we will get that over to you, and you can buy some nice tools or Pringles or whatever you want to buy with it. Guys, if you're watching this and you don't follow us on Instagram yet, make sure you do, because we do cool stuff like giveaways, and we post stuff on there that we don't post here on YouTube, so it's worth following us on there.
2 things. When I got the on-site guide out to explain cable tray, I said, oh yeah, this is the measurement. There isn't actually a set measurement for cable trays, so I'm sorry if I misled you there. I go by the trunking measurement as a rough guide. I look at that and think, well, roughly what size is it? The proper way to do cable tray is quite complicated. You need to look at the manufacturer's instructions basically, and it's all about getting the right spacing to whatever cable you've got on there so it's not going to sag. What else was I going to address? Billy Preston. Billy Preston made the Beatles. Their last album would have not been half as good without Billy Preston, so shout out to Billy Preston. Cool.
So that's it, we're done. It's been a fun few days. You guys enjoyed it?
Yeah,
good.
It's been fun. It's been like a sparky holiday really. We've got to see how cables are made, we've got to do a beautiful install 4 different chargers, eat some nice food.
Cadbury's World for Geeks.
Basically, yeah. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video too. If you have, don't forget to smash a like, it really helps. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching and have a great day.